What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. Today is Europa League Day, the biggest competition in European football. Manchester United against Real Sociedad. And Man United are 4-0 up. 4-0 up. For me, as I said in the first leg, the tie is over. We're playing this game because we have to play the second leg. If we don't go through, then listen, manager has to lose his job. Players have to be released from their contracts, and you might as well dissolve the whole club. Might as well dissolve the whole club. Big up Shane, big up RZ in the comments. Shane says Ahmad hat trick incoming. Listen, we're going to get onto the team. It's not going to be a long one, innit? Because what is there to say? The tie for me is over. The 4-0 away goals, 4 away goals in the first leg. For me, I want to see a young team, as my title says. I want to see a young team because we got Chelsea on Sunday. I don't want any of the senior players playing. I actually don't. There's only one player I've got who probably I would want to see start against Chelsea, who I've got starting this game, but I wouldn't give them more than 60 minutes. And we're going to get straight into it, to be honest, in terms of the team. So I've gone with Dean Henderson. So we've got Dean Henderson in goal for me. He has to come back in for David De Gea for the cup games. And there's a lot of talk at the moment about David De Gea, Dean Henderson, who should be the number one. You know, let me know in the comments who should be number one for Manchester United. I think next season, unless something dramatic happens this season, next season for me should be the one where Dean Henderson gets a number one glove. It reminds me much of Chelsea with Thibaut Courtois and Petr Cech. So they brought Courtois back from loan after he was at Atletico Madrid, and they gave him kind of one season as a second choice, and then they moved on Petr Cech the next year and put Thibaut Courtois as the number one keeper. And I think that's what we're doing with Dean Henderson. There's a lot of talk about whether he should go on loan or not again, and I understand it in terms of getting matches. But playing for Man United and playing for anyone else is not the same. So he could go away on loan for another season and come back, and he will still need a year as a second choice. Or Solskjaer may feel he still needs a year as a second choice before he gives him the jersey. So I think this year has been that. Watch David De Gea in the Premier League. You play in all the cup games, and I'm happy that he started, for example, the League Cup game semi-final that we lost last season as Romero as a second choice. He was subbed out for the second leg. For the semi-final, both legs in the semi-final against Man City in the League Cup. David De Gea played in the FA Cup semi-final, made a mistake, and David De Gea also played in the semi-final Europa League. Well, he didn't make any mistakes there, but he obviously didn't put the trust in Romero. Romero should be gone. I don't know why we still got him. Dean Henderson, for me, needs to be given the trust to play every single cup game. So if we get to the semi-finals or whatever cup, he plays in it because he's a part of the team that got us there in the first place. And next season, he can go in as the number one. And David De Gea is unlikely we're going to be able to sell him. I mean, on the wages that he's on, 375,000 a week he's on, or something along those lines. For me, I think that's like who is going to be paying those kind of wages. So we may be stuck with David De Gea for a few more years, but that shouldn't decide who should be our first choice or not. Dean Henderson should be first choice next year. But as far as this season, David De Gea hasn't done enough for me to get dropped. You pick him as a first choice at the beginning of the season, and unless he does enough to be dropped, then David De Gea stays as that. So that's for me. Tellez, for me, automatically comes in for Luke Shaw. See, I've gone with Lindelof and Tuanzebe. The likelihood is that Bailly will start. And the reason why I've gone with Lindelof and Tuanzebe is because I want to see Bailly and Maguire play against Chelsea. It's probably not going to happen. He's going to go with David De Gea, and so David De Gea is going to go with Harry Maguire and Lindelof as he always does. But this is my team. I want to see Bailly and Maguire against Chelsea. So I want to go with Tuanzebe and Lindelof against Real Sociedad today. And I've also got Brandon Williams right back. I didn't have him start in the first game, even though I wanted changes in the first leg. I don't 100% trust Brandon Williams, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure on Brandon Williams. There's those talk we were talking yesterday on the stream with Shane about whether or not we need a backup right back. I'm not going out in the market for a backup right back, but if one comes into your, if someone pops in your DMs, then maybe you take it on the last day of the transfer window. But I'm not going searching for a right back. But this is an opportunity for Brandon Williams to stake his claim as that backup right back. Then I'll go with Matic and Fred in the middle, more because we ain't got much of a choice. You could talk about Hannibal, for example. I'll get to you those comments in a bit. We could talk about Hannibal or others, but for me, there's no Van der Beek. I wouldn't start Bruno. There's no Pogba, no McTominay, Fred and Matic in the middle. Hopefully, one of those midfielders, McTominay more likely, will be back for Chelsea. I want to see him in the middle, but I'll go with Matic and Fred again. And I have Mata in the number 10. We haven't really seen much of Mata recently, so I would like to see Mata in the number 10 position. Senior figure, creative figure as well. So I think he can definitely offer something for us, especially if there's other, inexperienced players in and around him. And one of those would be Dan James, who he was in the press conference with Solskjaer yesterday, I believe it was. So he's pretty much guaranteed to start. He started the last couple of games, scored against Sociedad, scored against Newcastle, played well in both games, specifically against Newcastle in that second half, putting a lot of crosses in, keeping the width. I think he did very well. So he definitely deserves to start this game. And I've got him starting on the left, his preferred position on the left-hand side of the attack. We know how he likes to cut in. And then I've got Amad Diallo. It comes up here as Diallo Traore. That's his full surname. But Amad Diallo, who they haven't yet got a picture for him on the website that I use, but I would go with Diallo on the right. I want to see him get, say, 60 minutes. 60 minutes and see what he can do. Listen, if you want to play in the whole 90, play in the whole 90, but I just don't know if he's ready for that. Maybe he is. But at least 60 minutes out there. And let's see what he's about, because he's touted a lot. We've heard about a lot of him, what he can do. Let's see him do that as well. And then I've got Mason Greenwood up front. So for me, I want Mason Greenwood to start against Chelsea, but I also feel Mason Greenwood needs an opportunity through the middle for the whole game as well. Well, maybe for the whole game, but from the start for a large section of the game. At some point, I would probably swap him for Martial. He may start Martial and bring on Greenwood, which wouldn't give me more hope that Greenwood's going to start on the weekend. But I would actually start Greenwood and bring on Martial at some point for a bit of form, maybe get a goal or two, something like that. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to, and that front line of James, Diallo, and Mason Greenwood. It's lively. It's young. It's energetic, and then you got Mata in behind, just doing that creative stuff in it. So that's the lineup I would go with. I'll leave that on the screen there, and I'll go through some of your comments now. You'll let me know who you want to see as well. Christian says, what are your thoughts on Willy Kambwala? I don't know much about him. I don't know. So I can't answer that question. I know he's 16 years old. Yeah, don't know much about him. I don't really watch as much academy football as I used to. And when I say used to, I used to watch a lot of academy football back when the likes of Pogba, the likes of Ravel Morrison and those guys were in it. That's years ago, that's coming up to 10 years ago. So back then I used to watch academy football. But I don't really watch it. There's a lot of football, a lot of sports, a lot of YouTube streaming. I just don't have time for it, to be honest. So it's very hard for me to say much about him. Shane says, will we discuss a bit of the Chelsea game? We will on the match review. So after the Real Sociedad game, or maybe tomorrow, I might do a match. I'm trying to think. I've got United show, filming that tomorrow. We're playing on Sunday. Either after the Sociedad game, or we'll do a match preview on Saturday morning for the Chelsea versus Manchester United game, which is a big game. It's a big game for many different reasons, which we'll go on to at a later time. The De Gea for me should be number one for now, but I would rather sell David De Gea. Well, next season, I'm happy to have David De Gea as second choice. You know, money is not an issue. We're not going to get bags and bags of money for David De Gea, especially on the wages that he's on. So money for me is not an issue. I'm happy to have David De Gea as a second choice next season. Let Dean Henderson prove himself and then sell him the season after. I'm not 100% sure how long his contract is. He may have another 3 years to go, actually. But I'm not in a rush to sell David De Gea. I'm really not. Shane says Dean Henderson isn't as good with the ball at his feet as people make him out to be. He is good at coming out and commanding his area in a much better way than David De Gea does. But David De Gea as a shot stopper is still right up there with the best in the world. Right up there. So, you know, Dean Henderson still has something to has a way to go to compare to David De Gea at that level. Erhan says you wouldn't play that short tire. Is it, how do you pronounce it? I want to say short tire, but I don't think it's short tire. But that's what I'm going to say. Everyone's gassing that. I would play him. I'll bring him off the bench. He came on against Newcastle for his debut at Old Trafford. I wouldn't start him, no, but I would bring him off the bench again. Listen, and this is assuming that this game is comfortable. You know, we're 1-0 up, 2-0 up, whatever it might be. If Sociedad go 2-0 up in the first half, then we might have to bring on some of the senior guys. Like, I don't want it to be like that. I want us to get the lead. You know, even if we're 1-0 at half time, I'm cool with that. If we go with a team like this, I'm cool with that. So, yeah, if everything's going well, then I will definitely bring him off the bench. Aarons, if you were offered Max Aarons, would you say yes? And Charlie says Aarons could be that right back. Shoratere. Okay, Shoratere. Fair enough. Shola, where's he from? Shola. Is Shola Ghanaian? Or is that Nigerian? What's Shola? I don't know where that name is from. I'm trying to work it out. I know he's from, it doesn't say on his Wikipedia. But I think Shola, let's say, it's Nigerian. So maybe his surname is also Nigerian as well. Get the popcorn out for Thursday night football. The best football in the land, Europa League. Let's get it. I know you're jealous. But yeah, back to Max Aarons. If you offered the Max Aarons, would you say yes? It depends how much. How much are they going to want for an English right back? That's the question. I'm not looking to blow any of the budget really on a backup right back. I'm really not. So how much are they going? You know, Norwich are top of the league. They're probably going to get promoted as things stand. They're going to get promoted. So he's going to be a Premier League right back again. How much are they going to want for him? 40 million? That's the things I'm hearing. I'm hearing like last summer I was hearing 30 million. If they get promoted, they're going to want 40 million, maybe even more. Like Wan-Bissaka went for 50. They're probably going to be looking between 40 and 50. I'm not spending that on another right back. Sorry, no way. If they don't come up, then yeah, 25 million. We can talk at the end of the transfer window. It's not a priority for me. Couple questions here about England, India. It is an absolute madness. England are 56-5, leading by 23. At this rate, the game's going to be over today. I tweeted when India were batting. I was like, are India going to be batting before dinner? Obviously, it's a day-night test, so it's not lunch and tea. It's tea and dinner. But are they going to be batting again today? The way it's going, yeah. And it's been a bloody exciting match. DRS reviews, possible hat tricks, first ball ducks. Like, it's literally had everything, this test match. I kind of hope it goes on till tomorrow at least. Like, a 2-day test match ain't good. I don't have an issue with spinning wickets and that kind of stuff, but I have an issue with a test match that finishes in 2 days. And if a test match finishes in 2 days, then whether it's spinning, whether it's seaming, whether it's just uneven bounce, for me, that test match wicket is not good enough if it finishes in 2 days. Of course, you can look at the batting, blah, blah, blah. But if both teams are struggling that same way, then they need to do better. 2 days is way too early for a test match to finish. 3 days is understandable if there's a big difference between the opposite one team and the other. But a 2-day test match, I'm not happy. Exciting match, exciting 2 days. We got a crowd out there, and they're only going to get 2 days, maximum 3. So they need to look at that. I don't have a problem with spinning wickets, but I do have a problem with 2-day test matches. And finally, a question from RZ: Fury versus AJ prediction. I think at this point you have to make Fury the favorite. I think as a boxer, he is very, very awkward to box against. And I think he's got, the skills where he can avoid a big punch from AJ. You can never write out even the likes of AJ or Wilder when they've got those big punches. Look how Wilder and Fury fought in the first fight. What Fury was dominating all fight, and then boom, boom, big punches, and Fury's down. And lucky to get back up when he did. So you can never rule out AJ at all. He's a champion in his own right. But I think you have to give the favorite tag. Before that Wilder fight, I would have the Fury Wilder fight, I would have given the favorite tag to AJ. Obviously he lost to Ruiz as well, so that was a big step back. But I don't think that fight is going to happen just now. I know there's a lot of talk about it. Fury still has AJ after that Ruiz fight. I know he dominated. I want to say Povetkin in the last fight. It was Povetkin, wasn't it? Not Pulev. I could be. I don't want to mix up the two. But he got a knockdown in the end. I'm not 100%. He still looks a bit more tentative since that knockdown than before. And maybe he's thinking about ways that he can fight and not, leave himself as exposed. He got very excited. Like when he knocked down Ruiz, he got very excited and left himself open to get knocked down. Whereas when he's giving big punches since then, he kind of still thinks, well, let me stick to the plan. He doesn't go for the kill in the way that he used to. So maybe it's, it's smart. I'm not going to say it's not smart, but he seems to have, I guess, lost a bit of his fear factor, which maybe he needs to get back before he fights Fury. But we have to wait and see. As it stands here, Fury is the favorite. However, I don't know what's going on, but I don't understand why Fury and Wilder are not having their third fight. Like the first one was a draw. Fury won the second one. But surely Wilder has a rematch clause. So he should get a third fight. I would like to see that third fight before AJ fights the winner of that third fight, which I assume would be Fury. But we have to wait and see. Another good fight I would like to see is Deontay Wilder versus Dillian Whyte. That would be a good fight. And of course, later down the line, AJ against Whyte again, because we know they've got a history rivalry between the two of them. But yeah, guys, that's it. Man United versus Real Sociedad, 8 o'clock tonight. 4 o'clock, Ramsey will be doing a preview for the Arsenal Benfica. Obviously, that one's much tighter than our game, 1-1. So if they lose that one, make sure you are in the comments for his match review. But that's it from me for our match preview. Man United 4-0 up as it stands. And hopefully we see it through with a young, inexperienced team, but a team that should be good enough to go through to the next round. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. All of you in here now, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Share on your social media if you haven't done so already. And I will see you soon.